All right, this is going to be my quarterback ranking for the 2024 NFL season. These are my preseason rankings, and these are going to be a projection for the upcoming season. So don't get too upset if I put, somebody that was better than somebody else last year, if I put them a lot lower than they were last year. It's just a projection for the upcoming season. So don't take too much into account of last year's stats. So the honorable mentions here are going to be basically these are the 8 guys who I think have the best chance of taking over the starting spot here for the at some point in the season. That's going to be Drake May, Aiden O'Connell, Justin Fields, Drew Lock, Ryan Tannehill. Even though he's a free agent, I feel like there's a good chance that he starts for some team at some point this year. A guy like Nick Mullins, Zach Wilson, and Marcus Mariota. But yeah, at number 32, we're going to have Daniel Jones. I mean, he was pretty bad last year. I think he's going to be pretty bad this year, too. His receiving core still is not very good. Malik Neighbors should be good, but still pretty bad receiving core. He's, I don't expect him to take a leap from last year at all. I expect him to kind of suck again. Number 31 is going to be Jacoby Brissett. I don't think he's going to be completely horrible, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be very good. I think Drake May will take over the starting spot pretty soon, probably. Number 30 is going to be Sam Darnold again. He wasn't even supposed to be the starter. It was going to be J.J. McCarthy most likely until he got injured. I could see Sam Darnold having a decent year. He does have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, so he has a solid receiving core to work with, better than what he ever had in Carolina or in New York with the Jets. So this is probably the best receiving core he's had. So it gives you the most optimism for him, but still don't think he's going to be very good. Number 29 is going to be Russell Wilson. He does not have a great receiving core either. George Pickens is good, but then Calvin Austin's probably the wide receiver too. I don't think he's going to be very good. I think he'll have a decent year. But I definitely do think Justin Fields probably takes over the starting spot here at some point. I just think Russell Wilson is not a very good quarterback anymore. Number 28 is going to be Deshaun Watson. Kind of the same thing here. Him and Russell Wilson, 4 years ago, were really good quarterbacks. Right now, Deshaun Watson, in the last 2 years, has not been a good quarterback. I don't expect him to magically have a much better season this year, but I do think he'll probably be the starter for the entire year. Number 27 will be Bryce Young for the Carolina Panthers. He should be a little bit improved, but overall, I don't think he's going to be that much better. He has an improved receiving core. He looked pretty solid here in the preseason, but still, I definitely think there'll be some improvements, but I don't think he's going to be, even an average quarterback this year. He's still going to be a little bit subpar. Number 26 is going to be Derek Carr. I think he's just been getting worse and worse the last few years, and this is probably the worst receiving core he's had for a while now. He doesn't have Michael Thomas from last year, so that's obviously a big hit there. I do think he'll be, a solid starting quarterback to maybe keep the Saints in, contention for that wild card seed. They could probably be around a mid-tier team, but he himself not going to be better than just a average quarterback. Number 25 will be Bo Nix. I think he'll have a solid rookie season, one of the better rookie quarterbacks in this draft class for sure. I think he'll not have a great season. He is still a rookie. The Broncos aren't very good, but he has a couple of pieces. I think Cortland Sutton's going to be really good for him to kind of carry him a little bit. But overall, I still think he'll probably have some turnover issues, but I do think he'll be a very, very solid quarterback here for Denver, and probably be a better quarterback than Russell Wilson's been the last 2 seasons for sure. Number 24 will be Gardner Minshew. I think he could be a solid quarterback here for the Las Vegas Raiders, who was with the Colts last year and was a Pro Bowler. Not that really means anything really anymore, but he still had a solid year last year, and I do think with Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, he still has a solid receiving core. I do think he'll be a pretty good quarterback, but he still might lose his starting spot, midway or like 2/3 of the way through the season, just because I do not think the Raiders are going to be very good, and they'll probably want to, give Aiden O'Connell, some playing time. Number 23 will be Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going to have quite as good of a season as he did last year, but I do think he'll be a solid quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but again, Pro Bowler doesn't really mean anything, so he very well could be a Pro Bowler again, even if he doesn't even play that good, because he didn't play amazing last year, and he was still a Pro Bowler. So, I think we'll have a similar season to last year, maybe a slight regression, but I do think he's a solid quarterback. and will have a good chance of keeping this Bucks team in playoff contention. Number 22 is going to be Will Levis. He has an amazing receiving core. He still had D-Hop last year, but now he has Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, who are both better than their wide receiver 2 from last year. So he has an amazing receiving core. I expect Will Levis to have a really, really, really good year this season. If he does not, I'll be very disappointed, because if he does not have a good year this year with that amazing receiving core he does have, he's probably not going to be, the future quarterback here for Tennessee. Number 21 is going to be Trevor Lawrence. This kind of does feel a little bit low, but he had a lot of turnover issues last year, and he has a worse receiving core this year. He traded Calvin Ridley for Gabe Davis, which I think personally is a downgrade. Still has Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, who are going to be pretty good. ETN is still going to be a good running back that he can work in a lot in the pass game, but overall, if he does not fix his turnover issues that he had last year, that's going to be a big issue. And with a worse receiving core, I do not expect him to have a much better year than last year. Number 20 is going to be Geno Smith. I think he'll have a solid season. He has a good receiving core still, basically the same team offensively that they've had the last couple of seasons. I expect Geno, to be a fairly accurate quarterback, take care of the ball, probably not get more than like 25 passing touchdowns, but he'll be a solid starting quarterback this year. I have no doubt about that. He does have a new head coach that could definitely make things a little bit more interesting, but I trust in Geno to be a solid quarterback this year. Number 19 is going to be Kyler Murray. He didn't play a full season last year, but he was pretty solid in when he did play. This year with Marvin Harrison Jr., he has a better receiving core. He's going to play a full season, should be completely healthy. I expect him to be a pretty good quarterback. Not anything spectacular, but I do think he'll be a real solid quarterback and still make Cardinals fans very, very happy about him as their quarterback of the future. Number 18 is going to be Jayden Daniels for the Washington Commanders. I think he'll be a really, really good rookie quarterback. Not as good as C.J. Stroud was last year. Still not the best rookie quarterback of his class, because if you're not paying attention, there's still one guy I've not named off. But I do think we'll have a pretty good rookie season and make this Washington Commanders team look a lot better than they did, just a year ago. Number 17 is going to be Anthony Richardson. He only played like 4 games last year because he got injured. If he can stay healthy, I think he certainly has the tools and he has some solid weapons. I think he could be a really good quarterback. As long as he stays healthy, there's no reason he should not be, a good quarterback this season. He'd be a really, really good fantasy quarterback if he can stay healthy. But all he has to do is maybe not run the ball so much, or at least try to stray away from contact a little bit and not get injured again like he did last season. But I think he certainly has the physical tools to be a good quarterback in this league. And I think we'll have a solid season this year, which will show that he is the quarterback of the future as long as he stays healthy. Number 16 here is going to be Kirk Cousins. He was a top 10, maybe even a top 5 quarterback last year. You can literally debate that. He was absolutely amazing. I don't think he'll be as good as he was last year. He has a worse receiving core. Obviously, not having Justin Jefferson is going to play a big part of that. Still does have a really good receiving core with Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. If all 4 of those guys, they're really good playmakers on their own right, if Kirk Cousins can give them the ball, which Kirk Cousins is a way better quarterback than any of those guys have had so far. So that should definitely lead to good things in Atlanta. There's no reason they should not be able to win this division if Kirk Cousins does not play at least like a good quarterback. He does not have to play like he did last year. I don't expect him to, coming off his injury. But I do think if he can be just a good quarterback, that Atlanta could be really solid. Number 15 is going to be Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. I think he'll be, pretty solid quarterback. Again, not too much different than he was last year. He has basically the same receiving core. I expect him to be, one of the better quarterbacks in this league, but nothing too spectacular. Basically like he just was, just last season. Number 14 is going to be Jordan Love. A lot of people think that Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback in this league. I personally do not think so. He had an amazing second half of the season last year, but I don't know if he can keep that up for a whole season this year. And he got paid, a bunch of money, and like they think he's going to be an amazing quarterback. I don't think he's going to be that good this year. I think he'll be certainly a solid quarterback, but again, he does not have the best receiving core. They looked solid last year, but if his receivers don't take a step up, I don't expect him to be, a top 10 quarterback this year. I do think he'll be a good quarterback and be good for this Packers team. I just don't think he's going to be a great quarterback this year. Number 13 is going to be Matthew Stafford. He's obviously a little bit past his prime. I do think he's still a solid quarterback. Has a really good receiving core with Puka and Cooper Kupp. It does have Tyler Higbee out for a few weeks. That could definitely hurt him there a little bit. But overall, he's still a pretty good quarterback. I don't expect him to really take a step down from what he was last year. As long as he can stay healthy, then he could be. There's no reason he can't be a pretty good quarterback this year as well. Number 12 is going to be Caleb Williams. So even though he's a rookie, I do think he'll be a top 12 quarterback this season. He has looked amazing in preseason. He has probably the best receiving core any rookie quarterback has ever had with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore were both, top 10 to 12 wide receivers in the league last season. So if those guys can be amazing again, and Caleb Williams, there's no reason Caleb Williams should not smash every single Chicago Bears rookie passing records. He could even break their all-time passing records because no Bears quarterback has even thrown for 4,000 yards. There's no reason Caleb Williams should come short of 4,000 yards with the receiving core that he does have. Number 11 is going to be Brock Purdy. Again, his talent is not a top 10 quarterback, right? He's right there on the cusp of top 11. He has amazing receivers. I don't think he can go really any higher than this, but I do think he's still going to be a really good quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over that much, and he has amazing weapons, and he knows how to be a very accurate passer and get them the ball. So no reason he won't be a good quarterback. Again, Jalen Hurts at number 10. He kind of had a down year last year as opposed to the year before when they went to the Super Bowl, but I still think he's going to be a really good quarterback this year as well. He has amazing receiving core, even better than last year, I would say. Bringing in Jahan Dotson definitely helps them there a little bit. Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback. He does have some turnover issues a little bit sometimes, but overall, I definitely think he's going to be a really, really good quarterback this season. Number 9 is going to be Aaron Rodgers. So obviously he has injury concerns and he's like 40 years old. But as long as he can stay healthy, I don't expect him to be, a less accurate quarterback than he was. He may not have the arm talent and the mobility, but as his overall accuracy goes, there's no reason he can't be a top 10 quarterback. He won back-to-back MVPs last time he was healthy, basically. So there's no reason why he cannot be what am I saying? There's no reason he cannot be a top 10 quarterback this season as long as he stays healthy. Number 8 is going to be Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I mean, he's been a really good quarterback the last couple of seasons. I don't think he's one of the best, like top 5 in the league, but he's still, top 8 is pretty close to the top 5 anyways. He has an amazing receivers, obviously, with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. He could easily go for 5,000 yards and make an MVP case just because he has insane weapons, and he, played really good last year. As long as he can improve a little bit this season, there's no reason he can't be an amazing quarterback this year. Number 7 is going to be Dak Prescott again. Love him or hate him, Dak Prescott is an amazing quarterback. He doesn't know how to win playoff games, but also not necessarily just his fault. That can be the coaching. Jerry Jones is a freaking idiot sometimes, so you can't put all of that on Dak Prescott. Last year, he was certainly a top 3 to 5 quarterback. I think he'll maybe take a slight step down. They don't have who was it? I forget who they had last year. They don't have this year. I forget what his name was. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and whoever the third receiver was last year, who just retired, I believe. They don't have him, so the receiving core is a little bit worse. But overall, there's no reason Dak Prescott can't throw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns. He should be an amazing quarterback this season. Number 6 is going to be C.J. Stroud. He had an amazing rookie season. No reason why he should not have an amazing sophomore season. He has an even better receiving core with Stephon Diggs now coming in. Also, Tank Dell was injured for quite a bit of last season. If Tank Dell can stay healthy and having Stephon Diggs, he should be an elite quarterback this season. Number 5 here is going to be Justin Herbert. His weapons kind of suck, but I think Justin Herbert's talent alone is that of a top 5 quarterback. He might not have the stats this year of a top 5 quarterback because his receivers are like Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark, Brendan Rice, and Joshua Palmer, dude. Not a good receiving core at all, but his talent is that of a top 5 quarterback. You cannot convince me otherwise. Number 4 is going to be Josh Allen. I mean, I don't think anyone's really going to argue. My top 4, for the most part, is pretty set in stone. The order could be going a little bit different ways, but I think like 95% of football fans will have the same top 4, maybe swap some of the order a little bit, but Josh Allen is certainly a top 4 quarterback. He has one of the best arms in the league. His receiving core this year has obviously taken a hit from last year. You know, it's basically a completely new receiving core. No Gabe Davis, no Stephon Diggs. They got Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel in VS, and they do have Khalil Shakir coming back, so, you know, as long as his receivers don't absolutely suck, there's no reason he can't be amazing as well. He does obviously have some turnover issues, but if he can get that under control just a little bit, you know, I think he's certainly a top 4 quarterback in the league. And his rushing ability is pretty good as well. Number 3 is going to be Joe Burrow. I think he's better than Josh Allen, mostly because he's more accurate, more efficient, and has a way less of a turnover problem. I don't think he's going to be any higher than number 3 on this list, but he should still, he's certainly an elite quarterback in this league. Number 2 here is going to be Lamar Jackson. I'm not even upset if you want to put him at number 1, but just like, I wouldn't do it personally. He's an amazing quarterback. He just won the MVP for a reason, so if you want to put him at number 1, you know, go ahead, but I'm not really going to argue it, but I'm just not going to agree with you either. He's obviously the best running quarterback in the league. He has an amazing, you know, football, arm talent as well. People that say he's not a quarterback, they're just kind of hating at this point. He's an amazing quarterback, regardless of his rushing ability. He's still an amazing quarterback. That leads me into number 1 here, which is going to obviously be Patrick Mahomes. If you want to argue somebody else, you can argue it. I'm just not going to listen to the argument because I don't think there's really any good argument for him not being number 1, but I'm not going to disagree if you don't have him at number 1. I really don't care. There's definitely conversations, but I don't think there's a legitimate argument against Patrick Mahomes as the number 1 quarterback in the league. He should have a much improved receiving core from last year. Adding Hollywood Brown whenever he is healthy, Xavier Worthy should be pretty good for them. They got Juju back. He should be really good for them as well. So, you know, Travis Kelce might be getting a little bit worse because he's kind of old, getting up there at least, but there's no reason Patrick Mahomes cannot throw for 5,000 yards this season and maybe potentially have the best year of his career. That is going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check later this week. I'll be having, you know, receiver, running back, tight end videos coming out in the next couple of days, and I'll have a record prediction and then my official Week 1 NFL Power Ranking videos as well. So stay tuned. There's a lot of content coming out over the next week.